Most fitness studios are running specialty programs completely wrong, and it's killing their membership sale. I'm seeing it everywhere. Studios are blasting the same 6-week challenge offer all year round, then wondering why their ad costs are skyrocketing while their show-up rates and conversions are plummeting. The market is oversaturated with the same boring offers, and potential members have developed transformational challenge blindness. They've seen it all before, and they're not buying it anymore. When done right, specialty programs can dramatically drop your cost per lead while also increasing bookings and show-up rates, which are the actual metrics that actually matter when it comes to selling more memberships. I'm Alec, and for those of you who don't know who I am, since 2017, I've been helping gyms build marketing systems to get more paying members. After managing millions of dollars in ad spend for hundreds of different fitness studios, I found that studios consistently hitting their membership goals understand the power of cyclical marketing, strategic testing, and authentic urgency, turning specialty programs into membership selling machines rather than just another discount offer. In this video, I'm going to share 6 key strategies that transform specialty programs from failing to thriving, and these concepts will help you sell more memberships with less ad spend. Let's start with the 3 biggest mistakes I see fitness studios making with specialty programs. The first major mistake is running specialty programs all year round, which completely kills any sense of urgency or exclusivity. Think about it. When something is always available, there's no reason for people to act now. You're essentially training potential members to procrastinate. Here's what the typical failed specialty program looks like. It's available all year round. There's no real start or end date. The messaging is the same month after month, and there's no real social proof or momentum built up. It all blends in with all your other offerings and most other studios around your location. The second big mistake is assuming you know which specialty program will work best in your market. I've seen studio owners invest thousands in creating elaborate weight loss programs when their market was actually craving strength and training. The third critical error is going to be making up fake urgency. Your potential members are not stupid. They're smarter than you think. When you say limited spots available, but take anyone who signs up for 6 straight months, you destroy your credibility and all the urgency. The psychological behind effective specialty programs is rooted in genuine scarcity and social proof. When something is truly limited and others want it, its perceived value skyrockets. So the first thing that you can do is create a cyclical marketing approach that creates authenticity, urgency, and builds anticipation over time. Here's 5 steps to build this out. The first is going to be your planning phase. This is where you identify 3 to 4 different specialty programs that you'll rotate throughout the year. The second is going to be your testing phase, where you run a small test to determine what actually interests your market. The third phase is where you're going to build up anticipation and social proof. Follow this up with the launch phase, which is step 4, where you're going to drive signups with genuine urgency, followed by the 5th phase, which is the delivery, where you actually execute and document the results from your program. When you space out your specialty programs like this and strategically have them throughout the year within a 3-month gap from one another, you create genuine scarcity. You're not constantly running the same thing, and so when you do launch one of these special programs, it actually feels special. A key principle here is understanding that value perception is directly tied to availability. When something isn't always available, people want it more. And when they miss out, they're primed to jump on the next opportunity. Let's break each of these phases down into more details, starting with how we can actually figure out which specialty programs will resonate the most with your market. So how do you do this? Well, the simple answer is you test it. Most owners go with their gut feeling or copy what their competitors are doing. This is a big mistake. Here's an 8-step testing framework that we use with our partners to figure out what specialty programs to run. The first step is to identify 4 to 5 program concepts and durations to test. Step 2 is going to be to test the different program names. This could be something like Core Restore, Tone and Sculpt, Slim Down, etc. Step 3 is going to be to test different durations: 14 days, 21 days, 42 days, 6 week, whatever durations you can come up with. You can also include some different prices along with your durations in order to figure out what the best combination of duration and price is. From there, step 4 is going to be to create multiple ad variations in different angles with the different program names as well as durations and price. Step number 5 is going to be to take the winning duration, price combination, as well as the program name, combine it together, and then run a test for different ad copies. In your ad copy tests, make sure you have specificity in terms of who you actually want to attract into these programs. An example could be, hey ladies in this location over 40 plus that are looking to lose weight. Step number 6 is going to be taking the winning assets so far, so your program name, your program duration and price, as well as the copy, and move it into creative testing. So you're going to use all those winning elements in an ad with a few different creatives to test. You can test things like Canva style images, videos, videos with different avatars, so you could have a woman in one video or a male in another video, as well as testing different types of videos like a selfie style video versus a class-based video to really figure out what types of creatives are working. Step number 7 is going to be audience testing. And so at this point, you should have your duration, your program name, the price point, as well as a copy and some idea of the right creatives to use. With audience testing, all you're going to do is take those winning combinations, put them into an ad, and then compare different tests with different audiences. One of our favorite audience tests to do is to have one that's just blanket targeting everybody within a 5-mile radius of your location. The second would be interest targeting, so people that are specifically interested in the services that you offer. And then the third is going to be income-based targeting, so targeting people that have a mid to higher income level compared to everybody else in your location. Step number 8 is an optional step and depends on how much detail and how much testing you actually want to do. But what we'll do is we'll start to change out different buttons. And so rather than saying learn more, we'll try apply now or book now, or any different styles of buttons that we want to try for the call to action. And you could take this even a step further, as there is other elements within your ad that you could also test. For example, you could try different thumbnails. You could try the winning creative, adding a different hook element to the beginning of it. But this is really where you want to get creative to really figure out what your audience is best responding to. This type of testing system lets the market tell you what works instead of you just guessing. Now that you've identified your winning specialty program through testing, it's time to launch it. The best way that we found to launch these is in 3 parts that build momentum and create the authenticity and urgency that is so desperately missed right now. The first part is the pre-launch phase, which happens 14 days before registration opens. The idea is to create anticipation by posting 3 strategic social media announcements that hint at an upcoming program. We'll also send this out as an email or a text message teasing that registration is going to open on a specific day. The key here is creating initial awareness without revealing all the program details. You want to prime the audience so that they know what to look for when the announcement actually comes. Part 2 is when registration actually opens, and so this should be 14 days before the official start date of your program. This is where we take all the data from your previous testing and we actually put it to work. You're going to take that exact structure, that exact combination that did well in your testing, and you're going to publish it on your social media platforms. Now, the sole difference is you're going to have an actual start date on that post that you're going to publish. Once you publish this post, what you want to do next is to have all of your team members, as well as your active members or anybody else you know, to actually engage with that post. This is going to help us build some virality so that when we publish it as an ad, it's going to absolutely take off. Once you start to see some engagement on the post, you're going to want to launch your ads using that same post ID to maintain all the valuable social proof that you just generated. Set your daily budget to a minimum of around $101 per day. This specific amount is going to help you outbid your competitors who might cap their budgets at, roughly $100 and even less than that in most cases. Now, at the same time as this is going on, you're also going to be reaching out to everybody in your database with targeted messages. I'm going to cover exactly how we do this later in the video, and I'll give you the exact messages that we use. The third part is the close, which is basically the final days before the actual deadline and when your program is going to start. As the registration deadline approaches, this is really where you want to leverage urgency and scarcity. Focus on highlighting the spots remaining as well as when it's actually starting so that people feel FOMO. You can also share social proof as well as testimonials to really showcase the results people can expect, which will even heighten that fear of missing out even more. This final proof often brings in 30 to 40% of the total signups, and so make sure not to miss this step. Now, when the start date actually arrives, make sure you go into your ad account and you shut off those ads. This is crucial. You want people to know that the program actually started on this day and it is no longer available for anybody else who wants to join. The more times you do this, the more that word gets out about how awesome your programs are, the more people are going to take action on your programs moving into the future. Okay, so now how do we pour gasoline on the fire? We can do this by reactivating your existing database of leads and former members with the new specialty program. This is the most cost-effective strategy because you're reaching out to people who've already taken an interest in your business. So here's our 3-segment reactivation framework. The first is going to be for your cold leads, so people who expressed interest but never actually started. You're going to have former trialers, who are basically people who just came into the studio but never actually joined. And then the third is your former members, so people who were once a member but aren't anymore. So here's what we send to each list. For cold leads and former trialers, your message could be something like, "Hey name, it's your name from the studio. Just wanted to reach out and mention our new program is starting on this date. We have X spots left at just this price. Would you like me to save a spot before it's gone? And something else you could do is you can actually include a link to the social media post with all the proof that you have on it and all the engagement. This will create more FOMO as well as help give them any details about the program that you might not be able to give them with that first initial text message. And for former members, you could say something like, "Hey name, it's your name from studio. We miss seeing you. I wanted to personally invite you to our brand new program starting on this date. As a former member, you'd get priority registration and your price would be blank. Would you like to grab one of the remaining spots?" The key to make this reactivation work is to personalize it and also make sure the timing is correct. You want to send these messages 7 to 10 days before the program actually starts and have your team ready to respond to these replies quickly. This strategy works because these contacts already have some relationship with your studio and you've battle tested the hell out of this specialty program to make sure that it works to a cold market. So just imagine how well it's going to work to a warm audience. Now, one key thing to remember is when your program actually starts, make sure you are collecting testimonials and social proof. You want to be posting this everywhere because that's going to build more FOMO for all the people who saw the ads, saw the program, but never actually took action. And that way, the next time that you run it, they're going to want to take advantage of that. So let's recap our specialty program framework. First, you want to create authentic urgency by using cyclical marketing. Don't run your specialty programs year-round. When something is always available, it loses its power. Second, you want to make sure to test different program concepts before launching. Don't assume you know what your market wants. Let the data tell you. Third, leverage your existing community for social proof. When you post about your program after you've done all that testing, get your team and loyal members and anybody that you know to immediately engage on that post so that you can then boost it as your main ad. And finally, don't forget to reach out to your existing database with this new offer. These people already know your brand and are much more likely to convert than the cold leads that are going to come from Facebook.